Let me start by underlining my very clear intention as rapporteur to work towards a compromise that can bring political groups together. So I am really thankful for all the ideas colleagues have tabled as amendments. I am fully aware that the reading of this high number of amendments may lead somebody to think that we are basically literally all over the place. But I disagree with this reading. I firmly believe there is a space for convergence that allows Parliament to construct a partial but minimum compromise, one that it is politically balanced and robust enough for negotiations with the Council. And the reason why I am confident this is possible is really simple. We already share the most important element of any negotiation, a common diagnosis. Across political group, at least that is my reading, and after hearing the chairwoman, we can all agree on the core challenge we are facing. Europe needs to reinforce its sovereignty and its resilience in the fields of payments. This is not an abstract objective. It is a concrete response to excessive dependencies, technological concentration, and growing geopolitical vulnerabilities. This shared understanding is a true starting point. Disagreements on instruments, and they exist, do not negate the consensus. They simply reflect the responsibility we have to design the right combination of solutions. In this context, I believe the European Parliament has a specific role to play. The Council has chosen, understandably, to follow the general line of thought of the Commission. But the Parliament has benefited from more time, deep technical work, and an intense political debate. And let us be honest, the world of 2023 is not the world of today. The geopolitical environment has changed, also the payment landscape, and the technological risk we face require us not to change the objective, but to reassess the best way to respond to it. This brings me to a fundamental clarification for today's debate and future negotiations. The digital euro does not exist and cannot be assessed in isolation. European payment sovereignty and resilience cannot rest on a single instrument, regardless of how ambitious or well-designed it might be. This is not a matter of opinion. It is a structural reality of today's payment ecosystem. The digital euro is one component of a broader European strategy that also includes robust private pan-European payment solutions, genuine offline resilience, and a credible, robust, and proportional regulatory framework for stable coins, and finally, Europe's broader technological and strategic autonomy. Expecting the digital euro to act as a silver bullet for all of Europe's geostrategic vulnerabilities in payments would be unrealistic and ultimately counterproductive. It would place an excessive burden on a single instrument and expose it to risks it was never meant to absorb. In other words, creating a single point of failure. Framed correctly, however, the digital euro becomes a credible building block within a resilient ecosystem based on complementarity between public and private solutions, between online and offline functionalities, and between innovation and stability. In that ecosystem, private payment solutions, and in particular the success of pan-European interoperability initiatives, are not a secondary element, they are a key pillar of Europe's payment resilience. A well-functioning interoperable private payment landscape strengthens the European economy as a whole. This is clearly in the interest of European citizens and businesses alike. For that reason, this regulation must not hinder, crowd out or disincentivize the continued development of private interoperable payment solutions. On the contrary, it should allow them to succeed and scale. Any public intervention in payments should reinforce the ecosystem, not weaken it. And it should never become a brake on innovation or on Europe's capacity to build its own competitive payment solutions based on solid public infrastructure. Turning now to the more concrete elements of the file, I would like to highlight two main points. First, on the design of the digital euro, my draft report is built around a clear conceptual choice. The offline digital euro should be understood as a digital tokenization of cash. No more, no less. Cash for the digital age, not a payment system, not a silver bullet, plain and simple digital banknotes that can be used in the digital economy. This means preserving access to central bank money in digital form without introducing retail accounts on the central bank ledger. Such a design allows citizens to continue using central bank money in a digital economy with full privacy while limiting risks to financial stability, to bank intermediation, and to the structure of the financial system itself. By focusing on tokenized cash, the digital euro serves a very specific purpose, ensuring payment continuity and resilience, including in situations of network disruption or external dependency, while remaining functionally very close to physical cash. Second, on the compensation model. We must be realistic and economically sound. There is still no real data on the actual cost of distributing the digital euro, just widely diverging estimates. And we should avoid designing a system that becomes a permanent loss maker for the payment service providers bound to distribute it. A model that structurally generates losses for distributors would ultimately undermine the service quality for all citizens, will undermine innovation and long-term viability. If we want the digital euro to be properly distributed and maintained over time, the framework must be economically sustainable for all actors involved, merchants, clients, and distributors alike. To conclude, I remain firmly convinced that this Parliament can deliver a constructive outcome. The primary policy response here should be a strong, coherent regulatory framework rather than placing this burden on the digital euro alone. If we are willing to move beyond pre-assigned positions, if we anchor our work on our shared objectives that I truly believe we share, strengthening Europe's payment sovereignty and resilience, we can definitely reach a compromise that is credible, balanced and politically meaningful. That is my commitment as rapporteur, and I look forward to working with all of you in that spirit in the coming months. And thank you very much.